Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Third Man In, where we talk all things Supercoach. I'm Nick.
I'm Alon.
And we are into round 3 now. It's been another big week on the field and off the field. Some huge scores.
Yeah, some massive scores, really massive scores. Pretty much if you play against Parramatta, you're looking to make money. They've just gone back to their usual crap selves. The Warriors keep letting us down. Just, basketball Panthers. I had Matty Elliott as our coach. He's useless. What are the other big? Oh, Sharks. Another big loss. Just it's all happened this week. And
then you've got Fensom adding to the list of suspensions. So I'm one of the idiots that'll have Fafita and Fensom on my bench.
Really?
Non-playing reserves.
Did you have Sonnyville as well?
Yes, I did have Sonnyville and Gallen and Pitts. So it's been a fun couple of weeks for me. So
your team sounds pretty good.
Oh, it's going magical.
So what about, what is it, Papali out as well?
Papali's injured as well. So
it's all happening.
Yeah, it is. It's all happening. So this week it's all about the cash cows and cashing in as much as you can. So we're going to get straight into that.
All right. So Nick, the all-important round 3 of Supercoach, it's finally here, the most probably critical part of Supercoach, where you start making that money.
Yep.
Yeah, I've already started pulling a bit of my hair out because there's a few people really pissing me off. I don't know what to do, but you know, who are you seeing as all-important cash cows to try and come in, boost up the squad a bit, get your trades in and out?
Yeah, it's been made more difficult too from some of those huge scores from the weekend, which has made some big break-evens out there. So it's making things a lot difficult. You've got Tedesco, of course, is probably one of the big one that everyone's talking about with a score of 126 or odd. He's looking at about 60k grand to make in 1 week.
How much is he at the moment?
He's about 209. So
wow.
He's a really good pickup. But I think people have to possibly be cautious. You know, there's a lot of talk out there, some crazy talk about selling guns and selling Hayne for him, or you know, I think people have got to, you know, not be too keen to chase points. If you've got the cash and you can downgrade a mid-range player such as Brenton Lawrence, who's done nothing, then good. It's great trade, but otherwise, just, you know, I think be wary.
So, you know, one of the big ones last week was Arona.
Yep.
Did you jump onto the bandwagon?
I didn't. I thought I'd wait and see. So I've got this week now. I've pretty much got room to bring in one back and one forward. So
yeah.
The forward, it is between, I think, Arona and Taupau from the Tigers, which in itself is a bit of a coin toss. Arona's obviously 30 grand cheaper, so and they're probably looking to make about the same amount. I'd say the only way you might favour Taupau for that extra 30k is that he has more job security. So if you are looking more long term for this buy that can possibly take you through to Origin, then I think if you've got that cash, he might be the way to go, because in a few weeks, I mean, we've seen Arona already lose his starting spot to Heinington, and
I'm not too concerned about that though. Mm-hmm. Like, what is his break even? It's like minus 60 odd this week, so he only needs to go out there for a couple of minutes. Really, if you only got him on the bench to make money,
that's true.
That's what you've got to be doing. But I guess the other big issue really, and what we've been seeing on the forums and the sites, is the halves debate. If you're going to get rid of one of your halves or bring in a cheapy half, and that's the Townsend, the Widdop versus, you know, Hawkinson debate. What are you seeing around there?
Look, I think at the in our cheapy episode, actually, I don't know if we had that, but Townsend was actually my pick in the halves.
Actually, yeah, he was, because I was there shaking my head going, "There's no way, not Chad Townsend."
But I think we kind of, well, my idea was, look, he's in what I thought was a quality Warriors side. How much I know. But look, I thought, you know, playing with Johnson would be quite good for him. hasn't turned out quite as good for the Warriors, but I mean Townsend has been involved in a very poor outfit, and he's been scoring quite good. So you'd have to think if the Warriors get a bit of form, like he's only going to improve in for 150 odd.
Well, that's it. 150. His price rise is almost 35k, 40.
Yeah.
I think that's if he has a mediocre score against the Cowboys up in Townsville this week. Not my luck and the way we're tipping this week. Warriors will put plenty on them, and he'll probably end up with 120. His price will go up by a motta. But yeah, I'm probably more favouring Townsend at the moment over if you're going to bring in that cheap half at the moment.
What do you think of Widdop?
I like Widdop, I really do. His price already at 250
it's actually more expensive than I thought.
It's just he's a good player in attacking stats. My only concern is, like, I know the Dragons have won a couple of games, but how long will the Dragons keep putting this up for? I don't know. I'm waiting for him to fall apart. But then again, you know, if you've got the money to spend, I'd say most people already have Widdop in their side. If at that price, they would already penciled him in. I think Townsend's definitely the one you'd be looking at if you're looking for that cheap money-making option to come back in. That's, of course, if you don't have, you know, the likes of Thurston, Milford, Hayne, whoever else. But definitely Townsend for me.
And possibly one that we missed in regards to the backs is Mansour from the Panthers.
How good is he?
He's a powerhouse, that guy. He's been amongst the talk as well. He's going to make quite a bit of money, but I mean, he's got those base stats, which I think from comparison were better than Inglis and Tedesco, just in the base stats in his involvement with getting the hit ups.
Well, they're both like forwards playing in the back row.
Exactly.
It's just he's looking to go up another 30k at the moment. And Penrith are playing the Bulldogs, which, you know, both anything could happen with those two teams. And very defensive, and he will take the line on a bit. And it was positive signs watching him, you know, against Melbourne. So he's just a beast out there, and I think he's only going to keep getting pricier at the moment. So if you are looking, I'd jump on a Mansour at the moment, especially if you don't know or if you already got English, you're looking for another back. He's probably you got to go if you're going to spend some money in the back line instead of the front rows. But anyone else that you see cash cow wise that?
Look, someone on the weekend who really impressed me. He managed to pick up a couple of try assists. A lot of people doubted him, but Braithen Astor. I mean, Supercoach God, he's probably going to make me a good 1 to 2k this week. So look, it's paid off. I took a punt, and I'm going to reap the rewards this week. So
we put the Mozza on him, and he has a decent game against the Titans. Maybe we should just bag the crap out of some players and they start going good for us.
I think we've got a whole segment for Johnson coming up. So,
there are cash cows probably floating up around the screen, I think. So, you know, take the time, pause, have a look. But if not, you know, Supercoach Gold is also another option to have a look. But if not, just send us through some feedback or a few questions, and we're willing to help you out with whatever stats you need to know.
So we've had a look at some of the cash cows this week. Now we're going to go through some of the players who might be dropping in cash and seeing if it's worth offloading them. So who's at the top of your list at the chopping block?
From what I've noticed, and I don't have him on my team yet because I thought I'll wait a bit, but you know, I usually do have him. Maloney, he's usually an absolute gun for me. He's just struggling a little bit. I think, you know, his price was pretty high, but I think he's looking at going down about 35k. Like, in a couple of weeks, he's going to be the guy to buy because trust me, his form's form will turn back around, especially after that Origin period. So, but what about you? Like Smith will probably drop a little bit, but it's to be expected. Johnson,
we get this talk every year. You know, the likes of Parker and Johnson who start slow, but I mean they're proven. I mean, guns or in Parker's situation, gods in the Supercoach world.
Cameron Smith as well. He usually starts steady and then just starts throwing out a few bolters out there. So
I mean, we even if you want to check out our Facebook page, we actually put out a couple of comparisons from last year, which showed both of them did have those first two rounds, which were pretty slow and steady, but then got off to the usual start. So I think people, particularly with those kind of players, have got to be be patient and let them get to their best. So,
Yeah. Well, I guess if you've been waiting at the moment, it'd be good to pick them up pretty soon because
Yeah,
I can't see the prices going down much further.
yeah.
They are projected to go down a bit
Yep.
more, but that's only if, they can't hit the high scores. But you never know who's Parramatta playing. Are they playing any of those top teams soon? So. Because that's where you want to load it up before the price rises up.
Get on Manly this week.
So, but another one. Obviously, Aaron Woods is probably going to go down a little bit, but that's to be expected. And Jamie Lyons probably going down a bit, but these guys are your keepers anyway. So if you don't have them in your side, picking them up probably in the next couple of weeks will be pretty good.
Well, look, Woods might be actually one to keep an eye on. I think he'll be in that kind of looking for the 17th or 18th spot for New South Wales. But if he does miss it and he has dropped a bit, well, Tigers have a good bye schedule, so around that period. So he might be one to jump on when it gets to close to around 10, 11. So.
Well, is Isaac Luke getting cheaper as well? I think he is projected a drop as well.
Yeah, last week he kind of went missing, didn't he? So but I shan't be getting on that
one. So Johnson though, I think everyone
come
knows.
to that time.
I think everyone knows Johnson is probably the thorn in everyone's side. He's looking at dropping about 32k unless he scores a miracle 120 odd points.
Yeah, break even 125.
Which I got him in my side.
Oh, I got him.
And I'll be probably looking to trade him out.
Oh, really?
Just because I listened to your advice and I took him in my side. I went him over Thurston, which I never usually do, and it stung me, guys. So I'll just let you all know that. But dropping 32k, it just I don't know. If you watch the way the Warriors play, they play very they're trying to play a lot more structure, not very free flowing. Matty Elliott, it doesn't seem to suit Shaun Johnson's style. Everything that he does, Townsend seems to be reaping the benefits, or Tompkins seems to be reaping the benefits. He is that touch football sort of play, likes to run sideways, which doesn't get you Supercoach points at the moment. I don't know. For me, I'm looking at selling him. It's just killing me. So
yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, Matty Elliott, you're trying to change the game of Shaun Johnson, one of the most creative players. I feel like just to get Tompkins involved, they're going out the back every time, and Johnson's not running at the line. That's when Johnson's at his best, when he's running at the line, and it's so frustrating.
So you keeping him?
In saying that, I'm going to ride it.
Wow.
I'm right. Look,
head-to-head battle coming up. You're riding him?
Look,
I'm not. I'm just not.
I think if you got Johnson from the start, look, it was always going to be a bit up and down. Probably not as down towards the start of the ride, but I just got to hope there's some peaks in this roller coaster because, look, I took the punt at the start and everyone's going to be going to Thurston now, it seems like, so I might as well keep him as the POD and hope he gets into form. So please, something.
This is an important part though. Like when you're looking at players like this, guys, like we see a lot of posts on the pages, on the on Twitter and that. You sort of got to plan ahead a bit with this sort of stuff. So look at the rounds coming up. Look at the opposition they're playing. If they're playing any of the crappier teams, which I think everyone knows who they are by now, you'd be thinking they're going to score some points. But I don't know. I've just been watching the way they attack, the way they play, and I don't know. It's just I don't know. If it was the Auckland Nines, I'd probably keep him. Yeah. But it's not. So that wraps up another episode of Third Man In, episode 3. It's going pretty quick.
Yes.
Listen, guys, I know we did promise a Third Man In rant. He was meant to come, but as usual, he's as reliable as a Tuesday team list announcement. He's hopeless. Seriously, he's hopeless. He apparently tells us he has all these rants. He's talked to the people.
Yeah, we've been building it. I think we've gotten to that point where we might give him an ultimatum, and if he's not on next week, we'll be publishing his phone number. So
and when we do, feel free to message him at any time.
Any time of the day.
Preferably 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
But guys, another important week. This is probably the crucial week really in Supercoach for you guys who are new out there. Just watch every game, check the scores, get your trades right, because this is the key week
Need to
before
be
this all
making that
happens.
money.
That's right. It's all about making money and getting your team sort of right. But yeah, feel free to drop us a line at _thirdman. Oh, sorry, not underscore. Where are we? Twitter. Sorry, at Twitter on thirdmanin _Supercoach, and also on our Facebook page.
And you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get all our new weekly episodes as they get published online. So
Awesome.
Make sure you check that out. And otherwise, we'll see you next week. So until then, happy tinkering.
See you later.